Now, to get those required resources, there are two ways of trading. The most beneficial, and that's where you learn the skill about trading as well, that you can always trade with the bank. But the bank trading, as in real life, will always be the most uneconomical. So what the bank needs is a 4:1 trading. What that means is the bank will require four resources of the same type. So let's say four woods. These need to be paid to the bank, and then if you needed, let's say, a brick, then you can get from the bank just one resource from the bank against your four cards. So it's not a very economical trade, but sometimes you may need to do it if you don't have captured a required resource of the type that you need. But the more economical way, this is the second life lesson that you can learn from this game, is by trading in between the players. There is no rule for trading in between the players. So any player can offer anything. So for example, this red player can offer that I have an ore available, and if someone wants to trade with me, please give me a wheat because I need a wheat. So he can make that offer to other players on his turn, and if someone accepts, they trade 1:1. They can have a trading of two types. So I will give you one ore, one brick for one wheat, or one wheat plus one wood, whatever you want. That's the human trading factor, that you can make your own rules for trading, and as long as the other person accepts it, then it's a trading which benefits both the players, and that's why it's always more beneficial than your bank trading. And that's why it's recommended to have players trade with each other and learn that skill, that negotiation and trading in between supplier to supplier is more important than trading through a third party, which is the bank, which will never be beneficial, but sometimes necessary if the other players don't have the required resources or not looking for the kind of resources that you are willing to trade. Some players will try to have their monopoly against things. So some players will try to capture a certain kind of resource and block those areas from others for coming in, and try to have a monopoly on that resource so that everyone trades through them. That's also a possibility that can happen in the game. But these are the kind of decisions that you take. Then there are other kind of locations which are at the corners or the outer edges of the board. So if you place, let's say, a settlement here, then this settlement can only earn, rather than three, can earn only from two lands, so a wheat or a wool. But the additional advantage this is going to get, that it can use these ports available here. So if maybe you cannot look from that far away, but what these ports allow you to do is do trading with other cities at a more reasonable rate than the bank. Of course, these cards get replaced from the bank, but at a more reasonable rate. So for example, some ports are going to be very resource specific. So for example, this port accepts two bricks, but then gives you back one resource of any type you want. And whereas some come with a question mark, which take three resources of a kind and give you back one resource of whichever type you want. So these are more beneficial of trading rather than going through banks, that you trade through the ports. So that's why it's advantageous to build ports here if you need. So that covers the very basic of how you're going to build your settlements, build roads, and of course earn victory points. Then there are other ways to earn victory points. The two other ways are, there are development cards which can be bought for a wheat, a wool, and an ore. And these development cards are like bonus. Some of these come with a victory point. So these cards, hide them until the last game. As soon as you have an additional victory point card, you can have multiple cards. These directly give you one victory point for having a unique kind of building in your settlement. So for example, this is a library. So you built a library in one of your settlements, and that's going to give you one victory point instantaneously. Some are resource specific. So for example, this Years of Plenty bonus card, you can ask the bank for any resource that you want using this card. So the descriptions are given already on the card. One of the most common card you will get to play is the Knight card, which brings me to the element of the robber. Now, all other tiles are resource tiles, whereas the robber is on a desert. This desert is the only place in the game which does not produce any resource. And the robber at the start of the game is placed here. If someone rolls a die of 7, which is the case right now, 4 plus 3, that I got a 7. So that is robber, whoever threw this dice, gets to choose where the robber goes. So let's say I'm the red player. So what I will try to do is see what is the more profitable property for this blue player and try to block it with the robber. So in this case, whenever the blue player is getting a 10, he's earning 2 forest or 2 wood. So I can block this, and now next time the 10 comes, robber is going to steal that wood, and that wood doesn't go to the blue player. Plus, whenever I send the robber to a different location, whosever property is there, I get to steal 1 resource card from their hand. So they will hide their resources, and I will randomly pick 1 resource, and that resource comes into my property. That happens only one time, but till the day the robber stays on this tile, he is stuck and he will keep on stealing the wood for the blue player. So the 2 methods that are available to the blue player to get rid of the robber is, 1, he throws a 7 again and he sends this robber somewhere else and opens up his property, or he buys a development card and hires a knight or a soldier. So what does a knight do? You must have already guessed. He scares away, you play this knight card anytime in the game, and he scares away the robber to any property that you want. So once that is done, you get to apply the same rule, that you take away the 1 card from the other player and also block his resources. Now, one more thing that's important for the number 7 is, this game also teaches you the rule about not hoarding the resources as well. So always keep the economy flowing. Someone who has monopoly on one kind of resource will try to hoard it, but this game rule of robber stops it, that no one tries to have too many resources and does not use those resource cards or trade those resource cards. So whenever someone throws a 7, all the players have to check that if they have more than 7 resource cards. If a player has more than 7 resource cards, then he has to lose half of his cards. So in this case it was 3, so nothing happens. But if someone had more than 7 resource cards, then he would lose half of his resource cards back to the bank before the other actions of robber take place. So that's also a life skill that people have to learn, that hoarding is never a good policy and economy should keep on flowing. So that's how the game pushes you to keep on using the resources that you have. Now, 2 last conditions that exist in the game to earn additional victory points is that if someone plays 3 or more knight cards, then he get this bonus card, which is the largest army, which gives you 2 victory points. So he gets this card and this adds up to his victory points. If some other player plays more knight card than this player, only then this bonus card transfers to the other player. Same concept applies to the longest continuous road as well. So if someone builds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 roads, then he gets the longest road card. If some other player builds more than 5 continuous roads, then this card transfers to him. So that's how these give additional victory points and to any of the player. So it's all depends on you how you want to play. A settlement gives you 1 point, whereas a city gives you 2 victory points. So you play settlements, earn victory points, upgrade to cities, get victory points, get development cards, additional victory points, and build longest road or largest army to have your victory points. As soon as someone reaches 10 victory points, he is declared the winner of the game. So a lot of skills, a lot of trading, a lot of economics that you can learn from this game while having fun with everyone. This is the base, the game that I'm showing you is the base version of Catan, but there are other expansion packs available for this game as well, which add more resource type, different ships. It can add even the players. This base version is limited up to 4 players, but it can add players up to 6 players. So there are different kind of expansions or DLCs, what we call in new games, are available for this board game as well. But I highly recommend that you get the base game, or at least the print edition that you can print off and then play. You can replace your cities and houses with something from Monopoly or from your simple packs from Ludo, and your roads with Matchstick. Try it. If you like it, then go ahead and buy this game, and it will teach you a lot of skills, all the while having fun as well. So hopefully this was good enough for you. Of course, there are other minor tweaks and tricks or simple rules that you need to learn in the game, and there is a game manual that comes with it as well, which can teach you those. But if you have any questions or want me to cover more board games which are going to teach you skills while having fun, then please post in the comment and I will be sure to fulfill that request. Thank you.